Hello class, Jeanette Marshall here. So I'm going to be going over what we've spent the last 8 weeks doing, which was learning about our professional development and technology integration. And what I really liked was getting to experience, one, the intelligence test, your emotional intelligence, your almost like a personality test where you fit. And I find those interesting. This was one of the first ones that we did. So mine right here, I scored high on my linguistic and interpersonal skills. I am a people person, I think, so I did kind of agree with that. And I think that I always call myself like an introverted extrovert. So like I kind of need my alone time, but when I'm with people, I can be peppy and very, personable, and I love it, but it's like afterwards I do feel a little bit drained and I need that time to kind of like decompress. So I thought that was interesting. I remember in a course last semester, I think I got like musical linguistic on another personality test. So it was pretty cool to be able to kind of see the development of what it talks about our personalities and how they relate to the classroom. So that was week 1. And we had, I think, a couple of discussion boards. Oh, this is where our initial collegial coaching documentation. So this was cool. We got to fill out a form. This one I think we had to say who we were going to be using. Let's see. Yeah, so it was a form. We had to fill out a Google form who we were going to be using. So that was pretty interesting. I mean, I had to think about it. I substitute teach, so I'm not in a classroom every single day with the same people or really have time outside of that to spend with people, with my colleagues. So I ended up picking my mom and my daughter. But the interesting thing was, in the end, I picked up an assignment for my job where I would be in certain classrooms with students who had like 504 plans and learning disabilities and emotional disorders. So I would be spending time with them in the classroom, kind of helping them as in-class support. So I got to spend a little bit more time with teachers that I would see on a daily basis. So even though it was kind of last minute, I still kind of put some of that into my final assignment. So week 2 assignments. Same thing, we did the collegial coaching, the discussion board, but we did the collegial coaching personal reflection. And I appreciated like kind of, going through and kind of figuring out like, okay, so this is what I am on the Myers-Briggs test. I'm the INFJ, and then trying to see what does that mean? How does that pertain to how I would be good with coaching? So, and I think a lot of that was that, the INFJ, they're very more empathetic, more like humanitarian, visionaries, and I kind of think like with those personality traits, you do see that more in teachers. And not necessarily that all teachers are going to be INFJ, but that you see it more and they relate to it more. So I thought that was interesting. And I liked, thinking about it and getting my thoughts down about it. So that was pretty cool. Let's kind of go through a little more quickly. Our collegial coaching progress update. And this was just another discussion on, where am I? Eventually I'll show up. And I'm somewhere down here. Here we go. So this was where I was just putting like, where I was at in the Myers-Briggs self-assessment. How I felt, was it accurate? And I think it pretty much was. I think, one of the biggest things was the weaknesses. And I think sometimes, yeah, I do need to separate my feelings and realize not to take things so sensitively. Like, I know I have colleagues who are way more blunt than I am. And it's not like a judgment or anything like that. It's just how they speak. And I've had to learn over the course of time to kind of not take it to heart every time, you know, but still be sensitive to it. Another assignment for week 4. And my internet is running a little slow because we're going to have some storms. So, because I wasn't doing it right. So for my presentation tool, I chose Canva, which I loved. I love Canva. Can't wait to use it more and more. And I did like a little one for like brain breaks in the middle of the day and like how to use that.
Class, this is Jeanette Marshall, and like Teachers Pay Teachers or something like that. So it's very versatile. You can use it for a lot of things. So
I mean, that was the gist of it. I really just talked about how you can use Canva, how you can create, you know, new tools with it, and use it in the classroom and all that good stuff. And how even, you know, some teachers will use it and then post it on like Teachers Pay Teachers, and so they can kind of use it as a lucrative aspect as well. So my final thing I wanted to do was go to my paper. And my paper is over here. And in my paper, I talked about how I worked with my mom and I worked with my daughter, and my daughter is more, you know, wanting to do maybe like teaching with special education, and how you can use Canva to kind of, I kind of taught her ways to use Canva to make like slides for like their morning routines and be like, okay, this is where, you know, they'll come in. You don't want them overstimulated, especially inside of an education classroom, a special education classroom where you have, you know, ASD and things like that. And you have different levels of where the students are at. Even though they're at different levels, one of the biggest things is overstimulation and how they can get, you know, very agitated. So you want to keep things a little bit more low-key, a little bit more not flashy, not too flashy. You don't want anything like lights like strobing or things like that. Nothing too loud or crazy. So, you know, that was what was the really good thing with her. And she was really receptive, and it was a lot of fun. In the end, I ended up working with a woman, a teacher in another class, and she was for like 6th grade world cultures. And in that classroom, we had a lot of students that have learning disabilities or dysgraphia. And so using the Canva kind of brought out their engagement a little bit with how like colorful the screen was, and they tended to enjoy it a little bit better. Like, so I showed her like, you know, ways we could add, you know, to make like the lettering a little bit better in our slides and things like that. So I mean, she hadn't really worked with it very much, so that was pretty cool to show her, a veteran teacher. And so yeah, that was interesting. It was very last minute kind of thing. I didn't get as much time with her, you know, because it was at the end of the class this year. So, but I still have a few more weeks in the classrooms with the students. So yeah, so I really liked it. I enjoyed this class. I think it really helped me kind of take a little bit more pride in my leadership skills, whereas before I don't think I thought they were as strong as they used to be. So I hope everybody has a blessed day, and thank you for watching.